Right now, let's introduce Zac Dingee, the manager of the Hopewell Office.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to get a chair because I'm going to take some notes.
Okay. Shane, do not let him touch that thermostat. All right, I'm going to start off with a couple stories that we got. So, first off, I don't know if you guys saw it, but we've been doing some competitions lately down south. Some of you guys might not be in the same group chat, but we did a Labor Day competition, which I'm going to show in a little bit. But more important than that, on, what's today, Monday? Sunday we did something, Saturday. Was Saturday the day you won $100?
Yes.
Okay. So on Saturday, I put out a competition at like 11:30 a.m. And I said, what was it, the first person to get three appointments? Okay. I put out a competition. I was the first person to get 3 appointments, get to $100. You can come to my house after that. Sure as shit, Eric Layden, 30 minutes later, puts in 3 appointments. So I'm like, what the fuck? How did he put in appointments so quick? I just put out the contest. So I invited him. We went to see Sebastian Maniscalco that night, and I gave him his $100. And I'm like, dude, how'd you get so many appointments so quick? He goes, Zach, I shit you not, I was running to every door. He's like, I couldn't let anyone beat me. He was sprinting.
He drove from Connecticut first.
Yo, that's right. I forgot that part. He woke up in Connecticut. He was out drinking the night before. And he woke up, saw the text, drove home from New Haven, Connecticut to Wappingers Falls, and then started sprinting the doors to get 3 conversations. Or 3 appointments, I mean. So that dedication is awesome. We love to see it. And secondly, yesterday I put out a competition for whoever sets 3 appointments again gets $200. And that was Mike Belgrave. And we got to pay up on our debt because he hasn't been paid yet. So two Benjamins. What?
I still got 100 from Mike Weiss, too.
Yeah, that's right, Mike Weiss. You Venmo'd him? You Venmo'd him?
Yeah, 200 towards that car, man.
All right, so a lot of you guys, or Jill just said it, but a lot of you guys probably heard it. We went to the Vault, which is Patrick Bet David. If you guys haven't heard of this guy, Patrick Bet David, I suggest every single one of you go follow him on Instagram, YouTube. His YouTube is called Valuetainment. And the guy came over from Iran at 7 years old and built an insurance company and just sold it for $350 million or something like that. He interviews mobsters. He just interviewed Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. This guy is like unreal. And he has the conference. We went to this Volt conference. No, let me see that for a sec.
Yeah.
And he gave us this packet, this booklet, the Volt 2022, Cracking the Code to Life and Business. And a lot of the stuff he shares is just some next level stuff that you can never get. So we went down to that conference, and I'm going to share 2 stories from it. Does anyone know who Andrew Fastow is? Anyone know that name? Shane, you know who Andrew Fastow is? No? Well, Tony, I know you know because you were down there. Okay, does everyone know who Enron is? The company Enron? Okay. This guy, Andrew Fastow, was the CFO of Enron when they went to prison and got fucking all the stuff that happened. Probably the biggest scandal in the history. He's the CFO of Enron in 2001. Patrick Bet David had him come speak about business ethics and how to be morally correct. So just to give you an example of who this kind of guy is, this guy is not the average ordinary person. So he brings in Andrew Fastow. And Andrew Fastow shares an amazing speech. And he starts off with, I take full responsibility for everything I did. Nothing I did was right, all this stuff. He holds up an award, and he holds up his prison card. And he said, this is my award for CFO of the Year in 2001, and this is my prison card that you get when you went to federal prison. And he says, I won both of these awards, or I got both of these things in the same year. Both of these things made me the #1 CFO of the year and landed me 10 years in prison. So the story goes, and I'm gonna give it quick, but he basically says, you can be right, and you're still wrong, which is what essentially he says happened. And the example he gave, which was great. Everyone know about the Boeing, the 737 MAX that crashed twice? You know that story? So he says, if you look at that deck, or if you look at the regulations, the FAA has certain regulations you have to meet to put a plane in the air and to have passengers, right? Then you have the safest plane in the world, and there's a spectrum of like, this is the minimum requirement, this is the safest plane you could build. And he says most companies kind of build it somewhere around here, because if you go all the way this way, you don't make any money because the plane costs too goddamn much to build. So they put it like kind of right in the middle. Well, the 737 was a little bit more towards this end, but it checked every single regulation box, everything that needed to be checked by the FAA. Every single box. So nothing was done wrong. But still, that plane crashed twice and killed 300 something people or something like that. So in the world of solar, I'll relate it to, is that you can be right, you can charge the customer the right money, you can do all the right things, but all he says is you have to have the right intent. And that's why he went to jail after everything. Everything Andrew Fastow did was checked by lawyers, the banks, other CFOs. It was checked by 150 people. But his intent of why he did it was incorrect, and that's why he went to jail and served 10 years in prison. So just think about that when you're selling solar. You always want to be going about it with the right intent. Then, and we'll go to the slide in a second. Robert Kiyasaki. Everyone know who Robert Kiyosaki is? Okay, he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He is the man, the fucking man. And if you guys were at the conference, you know why I'm saying that. Every time someone asks a question, it basically started off with, fuck Joe Biden. And then he'd go into his thing. It was unreal. Unreal. The guy is hysterical. But I'm going to give you the 5 G's that he told us to invest in. He said these are the only 5 G's that anyone should ever buy in their life. 1 is gold. 1 is gas. 1 is grub, which is food. 1 is ground, which is real estate. And the last one is guns. You ready? And I'm only sharing you this story because I'm going to tell you what he says when he says all these things. So he says those. We all get to ask our questions. So I'll start it off. Firstly, we asked a question. One guy asked a question. What do you mean by grub? Like we should buy food? Like we should buy steaks or something and freeze them? This is his legit answer. You guys can back me up on this.
Oh, I have it recorded.
Legit answer. He goes, well, I own a couple farms and I sell cow semen. So we make a lot of money doing that, selling cow semen. Wagyu beef, and he sells cow semen. That's what he means when he says grub. Then we ask, okay, when you say gold, should we buy gold bars? Like, what do you mean? He says, do you know where the location was? Philippines. He said, well, I just bought the largest gold mine in the Philippines. So that's where you guys should probably buy it. We're like, okay, bro, thanks for the advice. Make sure I buy that. Then he's got, what else? Ground was real estate, gas. We go, all right, we got gas. You want us to buy gas stations? You want us to like hoard gas gallons in our basement? Says, no, I just bought the biggest oil rig in Utah. So that's what you guys should do. You should buy a big oil rig in Utah. And then the guns, he says, I don't buy guns by the store. I buy guns and bullets by the pallets. I just get them shipped into my house by the pallets. So anyway, funny ass story. Guy's a hilarious guy. And the Volt conference is unbelievable. And I'll tell you guys, I came back and just the amount of, we're in this room and we're all so special. And all you guys work so hard. And we're here every day. We're inspired by each other. And we get to work with each other. And we talk about guys making $1 million a year and all this good stuff. And then you go down to these conferences, and I'm sitting next to the guy who is the #1 rep at IML. Does anyone know what IML is, the company? It's a multi-level marketing company. It's like a Forex trading. We get into a long conversation, and he shows me his pay stub. And last week, 1 week, he made $800,000 that week. The guy made $70 million last year doing MLM company. And then I come back and I'm like, God damn it. Made 300 grand in a year. I'm like, fucking broke. So anyway, I'm inspired and I'm super excited. I'm focused and I'm glad that I get to share some stuff with you guys. So go ahead and go on to the first slide. This is what I was talking about before. This was pretty cool. We did a Labor Day competition down south. And in one day, it shows what happens when guys actually work hard. In one day, we got 32 pieces of contact information. That was just like if you went to the door, you didn't set an appointment, and they wouldn't give you anything but a phone number, email, whatever to follow up with. 32 of those, we set 27 appointments in one day. We made 4 sales that day, 4 same days. Estimated about 14 total sales generated in one day. So give yourself a round of applause. That was a great day. And for those on the North team that don't know what we did, we based it out like a football competition. So if you set an appointment, that's worth 3 points. If you get a utility bill, that's worth 1 point. If you get a contact information, worth 1. If you get a sale, it's worth 6. So we played it like that. And the winning team was Nick Azadian and who else? Brandon Spinks, who's not here. But Nick Azadian and Brandon Spinks won. 2 younger guys, and Brandon, as we know, has been killing it on the scoreboard for sales. And that day he set 9 appointments. So all you guys, I know you have what it takes, and some of you guys just don't work, but when we have these competitions, you usually lay low, and then we have competitions and you set 9 appointments, you kind of shot yourself in the foot. So now we all know how he works. Go ahead to the next slide. All right. This is something I don't know if all you guys are using, but it's kind of fucking confusing. I didn't know how to put it on the screen. A lot of the new guys should really be using these. Older guys, I know you guys have your own style and you do your own stuff, but still always good to look at the basics. These are the Google Classroom videos that Jill and I made. So if you're on your Gmail, your Google Calendar, I don't know, Google Documents, Google Drive, whatever, all you do is click on these 9 dots. Everyone know the 9 dots I'm talking about in the top right corner of a screen. Then you get a drop-down menu, and you'll see a classroom. And if you guys are already added to the classroom, which everyone in here should be, as soon as you click on classroom, you're gonna get these 2 segments that pop up if you're in outreach, and these 3 segments that pop up if you're in sales. So if you're in outreach, who is that? Oh, I thought it was Bryce. I was gonna yell at Bryce. If you're in outreach, you have introduction to Plugpv videos. There's about 10 or 15 in there. Or sorry, there's about 1 or 2 in there and 10 or 15 in setting appointments. And then same thing down here. So if you don't know how to access these, that's the simple, easy steps. You click on the 9 dots, you click on classroom, and everyone in here should already be put in.
How many people have not accessed them or don't know how to access them? They're super helpful videos. I mean, you don't just watch them once, you watch them over and over and over again, because our business is pretty simple. It's like 100 different pieces to the puzzle, but our business is so simple, but we just gotta stay on top of it, and it's a good way to refresh us, right? So if you're not watching these videos every week, you're not helping yourself. So if you don't know how to watch these videos, these training tutorials, get with somebody that knows how to do it, and take a picture right now, and by the end of the day, Zach, make sure everybody on your team has access to it. Then do we know everybody in Albany has access to these?
Probably not. We'll have to get access to them.
Everybody needs access.
Yeah,
to these.
Ben is a user, Jared's a user and stuff, so you guys can add people on as people
I'm on
get.
it right now, I can add people.
Yeah, you can add anyone who's not added, so you can ask Jared if you have to. And there's like 15 or 20 videos, and everyone it's got everything: how to warm up, how to kill the bill. It's got everything. So it's very good to watch over and over again, and to really learn and not have to go out and do the experience on your own and learn by sitting at presentations and not closing them.
Yeah. And I'll be sending out this slide deck to everybody, so.
Okay, go ahead to the next one. All right, so I got a very difficult question for everyone. What do we sell? I want everyone, raise your hands if you think we know what we sell. What do we sell?
A cheaper rate than what they would pay anyways.
Okay, what do we sell? No, don't answer, don't fucking say the answer if you know it. Jeremiah, what do we sell? Okay, what do we sell?
I was going to say that too, but
Anything else?
Yeah,
the company.
I read the book. Yourself.
Okay. Is that everyone's final answer? Everyone got anything else? Company, okay. What? Did you say weed? All right, don't go to the next slide yet. We sell ourselves. We sell solar. We sell price savings. We sell all this stuff. But most importantly, go to the next slide. What we really sell, especially in today's market, and why Andrew Kane can get people to crawl out their seats and tell all 30 of their neighbors that they need to go solar as well, is because we sell certainty. When a customer is paying Central Hudson, or they're paying their utility, doesn't have to be Central Hudson, they're uncertain of what the bill is going to be next month. They're uncertain of what's going to happen in the grid. They're uncertain of what's going to happen with inflation in the next 5 to 10 years, with gas prices, with all that stuff. So good reps will sell on savings. Great reps will sell on protecting yourself and certainty. Guys like Marino and Andrew Kane, if you ever sit and listen at their presentations, all they talk about is how bad the utility prices are going to be and what's happening with the grid, and what's happening with the world. And then you sit on a good rep's presentation, they're like, you're going to save $40 a month. And that's why you have a 30% closing rate, because people can't get that excited about saving $40 a month.
Zach,
Yo.
you don't own your own power plant, you're going to get fucked.
That's it.
You want to get fucked? You get
Just like that. The wise words.
Conversation he has when he has an entire congregation at a church.
So there's uncertainty in the market itself. We all know that. People are talking about a market crash, a recession might happen, everything's going on right now. Gas prices, we've seen that. Elections coming up, politics, the grid, inflation, supply, demand, and if you guys haven't seen, in California, they've been having blackouts for a while now, so that's a huge thing to sell on. And people pay a lot for peace of mind. Andrew, tell me the story that you just told me the other night on the phone about what was the guy was saying to you when the price was like $10 more and how he was excited about it.
I was high on Adderall.
Okay. I got it. So he calls me and he's telling me about this guy. He sent me like 2 short clips of the video.
I broke down numbers to him, and he was a contractor, like middle American. And, I guess I sold, it's not even selling, it's just talking to someone, giving them your story, giving them, the whole power plant story. But he was like, so you're telling me I'm going to be paying $20 more for solar than my electric bill? And I said, yeah, isn't that incredible? And he's like, dude, I can't believe this shit. I'm going solar for no money in the pocket. I'm paying $20 more than my average electric bill, and it's going to stay there. Yeah. I mean, you're lucky you get enough sun. If you didn't get enough sun, you'd be about $70, $80 more. So you're lucky. And he was just kind of, I also fucked.
He was excited about saving or spending $20 more.
Very rarely is the solar number or renewable energy number higher than the electric bill. I definitely fucked the numbers up, and I was like, oh my God, I can't now switch it. The guy looks like I don't know what I'm doing, but he was impressed and he loved it. So it's not about monthly savings. If you're selling based on monthly, I mean, 1, you're losing out on a lot of money you can make, but 2, you're just kind of like allowing that customer to go around and bounce around to the best price. No one shops around when I deal with them, maybe 1 out of 20. It's not about monthly savings, it's more about, listen, this is what it is. Either you're gonna get screwed by the utility, you wanna own your own power plant, that's it. These are the numbers, and this is why your house is good for this. Your neighbor's gonna get fucked, he has trees. The guy across the street, he has peaks on the roof, he's really fucked. That's it.
So, you guys have heard me say it all the time, but you can't sell on savings. You cannot sell on savings, especially up north where you guys are, where utility companies are 13 cents. We're experiencing it down in Cincinnati. When we went down to Florida to sell, we go down there. The best part of, Andres, where are you? The best part of Texas was what, a bill swap? Yeah. And you guys were making $10,000 commission, selling 150 deals a month. Like, you can't do it long term and really get customers excited and really build the referral base. When you have your customers so scared that they want to go tell their friends about going solar because they think like they're doing their friends a favor, where if you just sell them solar and they save $40 a month, they're not going to bring up solar at the cookout because it's like, oh, we did it because we thought it saved money. When you get this to where these people are like your salesmen for you. Andrew just texted me this morning, a customer just sent him another 2 referrals, That's the kind of stuff you have. That's when you're basically building out a sales team of customers. Your customers become your sales team for you. So people pay a lot for peace of mind. That's what his customer just did. It's $20 more, but it's peace of mind. It never changes. It stays the same. It's locked in. He doesn't have to pay any money out of pocket, all that stuff. So we don't sell anything else but certainty and protection against everything else. And if you can switch your mindset to that, that's when you start making serious money and you could really start selling people left and right. Go ahead, go to the next slide. So, all right. Might be a little bit confusing at first, and Ben messed it up a little bit, so sorry, Ben, but this arrow is supposed to be all the way up there. But anyway, we have overachievers, achievers, and underachievers. So there's really only 3 things you can be in the solar world. An underachiever, which this arrow is supposed to be down here too. An underachiever is someone, you're not gonna write your handwritten letters. You're not gonna get the referrals. You're gonna do your 2 or 3 sales a month. You're gonna just skate by. And the problem in solar is that you do 2 deals a month and you make $150,000 a year, which kind of sucks, but I guess it's great for people who are gonna do 2 sales a month. But these are the guys who aren't gonna work. They're gonna be home every night at 5 p.m. They're not gonna be out on the weekends. They're not gonna be writing their handwritten letters. They're not gonna be doing all that stuff. This is an underachiever, someone who's just selling solar because they need to, and they work 20 hours a week and they need a job so their wife doesn't throw them out of the house. You have an achiever, which is a lot of the guys in this room. Guys who are gonna work until 7, 8 p.m. some nights. They're gonna go out on a Saturday some weekends. They're gonna get their 4 to 6 sales a month. They're gonna do everything that is required and needed and never anything more. They're gonna do just enough so Jill doesn't yell at them. You guys get to go on the trips, the vacations, all the good stuff we do. You get your 6 to 7 installs a quarter and everyone's happy and you guys are just riding the wave, nobody's bothering you, and you're making your good $200,000 a year. Then you have the guys who are the overachievers, who are gonna make the $500,000 a year and up, who were standing up in the room when Jill was saying that stuff. The guys who write the handwritten letters to customers. The guys who get all the referrals. The guys who are always showing up on time. They don't miss site surveys. They don't miss installs. They don't miss, they don't miss meetings. They're on the Zoom, they have the camera on. All that stuff, that's an overachiever. So there's different levels of what you can be, obviously, and there's 3. And you can only pick one of the 3. You're either gonna underachieve, you're gonna get your 4 to 6 sales, you're gonna be a good, solid solar salesman, or you're gonna be that does everything. And overachiever is not even necessarily sales. You don't have to be the guy that's putting up 13 sales a month. You just gotta do everything. You gotta be at the meetings, you gotta be helping guys, you're training guys maybe if you need to. You're stepping up when you need to. You're at the site surveys, you're at the installs, you're buying food for the install guys, all that stuff. You're getting reviews maybe. I see a lot of guys' names up there. Noel gets a lot of great reviews. That's something that doesn't really affect him that much, but it affects everyone when he gets a great 5-star review. That's for everyone else. That's what an overachiever does. They're making it so everyone else's life is easier. You follow me? So everyone should strive to be an overachiever. And it's not just sales. Again, some guys have the ability to sell 10 a month in their sleep. That's like, you guys know about Kobe and Shaq. Shaq was the most dominant player in the world, but he didn't fucking work hard because he didn't need to. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Patrick Bet-David interviews Kobe right before he dies. And he says to Kobe, what would Shaq be if he had your work ethic? And Kobe answered, the greatest player in history, no doubt about it. No one would even compete with him because you're 7'6", you're the most dominant player in the NBA in history, and he didn't have to try. And then there's guys like Kobe, who were pretty average in high school. They didn't really get, or in high school he was good. Pretty average in middle school. They didn't get good yet. And then they started having this sick work ethic, and he maxed out every single drop of potential he had. So if Shaq had Kobe's work ethic, who would he be? You follow me? So a lot of guys, like you were just saying before, Paul, it didn't come easy to Paul in the beginning. That's why he got most improved. He had to do it all. He had to actually work to become this. You know what I mean? So that's what an overachiever stands for. You take everything, you use all your potential, and you work your ass off to get to the top of the food chain. Go ahead, Ben. So freedom at Plugpv. This kind of goes to what I was just saying, but the conference we were just at, the Volt, I know it sounds cliche, but really the main thing it was about was like, who do you want to be? Not just like, oh, I want to be a millionaire and oh, I want to live a good life. No. What do you want your days to look like? What do you want your hours to look like? What do you want your wife and family to look like? What do you want your business to be like? Are you a guy that wants to make $5 million in the next 5 years, 10 years in solar? Take that money and go chill in a boat and live in Miami for the rest of your life and not really have to work that hard, buy a couple pieces of real estate? Or are you the guy that wants to make $100 million a year in their life and they want to work, 80 hours a week for the next 2 decades? Most people aren't that kind of guy. But you need to know who you want. And I have a great analogy. And at Plugpv, you can pick whatever you want. We have the best opportunity vehicle in the world to make money in. Eric Layden was a worker at Amazon. He worked at the Amazon warehouse. And he was working 65, 70 hours a week. What time do you have to be there in the morning? 4 o'clock. He had to be at work at 4 a.m. Be at Amazon, the warehouse, at 4 a.m. And he would work until 12 o'clock, 6 days a week, 50, 60 hours a week. Working his balls off. Do you work anywhere near that hard in solar? Probably half of that. It's not about how hard you work, it's about you have to be in the right opportunity vehicle. And all of us in here can all agree that we are in the right opportunity vehicle, and we have a guy that made 1.1 million this year, okay? It's unreal, unreal. So not only do we have that, we're in the right opportunity vehicle, we get to choose the life and the way we want to live. And Gio's done a great job at this, is like, there's a lot of people in this room, we were just saying on the last slide, you can make 1 or 2 or 3 sales a month and stay here. You don't get fired. You can have the life of like, hey, I just want to do my 2 sales a month and make my 150 grand a year and be happy. And that's it. I don't want to do anything else, you know?
And you're still better off than most places.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why it's the right opportunity vehicle. That's why the guys in this room love their lives. So there's a great analogy I'm going to give to you. There's a menu. When you go to a restaurant, you get a menu, right? And you have, on the left side, you usually have the food, and then like over to the right, it has the pricing. Let's say on a menu, you have all the things you want in life, and to the right side is the price you have to pay. On the left side, you want to be the $150,000 a year guy. On the left side, you want to be the $150,000 a year guy. On the right side, it just says, work 30 hours a week, show up to your installs, show up to some site surveys, don't be late to meetings, you'll be pretty good. Then if you keep going down, there's the guy that's the $500,000 a year guy. The $500,000 guy, you go over, it says 50 hours a week, you're gonna miss some dinners, you're gonna miss some events, you're probably gonna have to work some weekends, you're gonna be at every install, every site surveyor, you're gonna have to stay late a lot of times, you won't be home until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night most days. Okay. Then you go all the way down, you can get to the guy that's making $1 million a year. Then you have to work 70 hours a week. Then you have to be on Zoom calls at 9, 10, 11 p.m. at night. Then you gotta be out every single weekend doing installs, and you still have to live your own life. So that's the kind, you guys get to pick whatever one you want. And the thing is, you need to know, because if you're envying someone else because of the life, you either need to increase your work ethic or lower your standards. If you're mad that someone else on the team is making $500,000 a year and you're not, well then fix what the fuck you're doing. It's only your fault. It's nobody else's fault but you in this room, because we are in the right opportunity vehicle. If you don't, most people, I'm gonna guess, most people in here don't wanna work the 80 hours a week, because if you did, you'd be doing it. Most people wanna work their 40, 50 hours. They wanna make $500,000, $250,000, $500,000 in this job, which is insane. They wanna see their kids, they wanna go to the dances, the dinners, they wanna be with their wife and go out on nice fancy vacations. They want that stuff. Just pick it, know what you want, and then work at it. Don't be worried when someone else is doing better than you or doing worse than you. Find out what you want in solar and just go do that for the next 10 years, you know? You don't need to, most people in here are not gonna be making $1.5 million a year working 90 hours a week in this job. And it's okay, but you have to know what you want. And in the menu, you get to pick whatever one you want and you decide on that and then work towards it. Does that make sense? Okay. Go to the next one. On the same path here, but this is, again, a lot of the stuff we learned down there. And we got a booklet, and there's this, you did the personal identity audit. It's like 300 questions about who you are. Like, how did your parents introduce you as a kid? How do you feel when someone talks down to you? How do you feel when you get praised? All this stuff. And you have to answer these questions where like, you would never answer on your own. They're deep, meaningful questions, and you really find out who you are and who you want to be. So, study the most important product, you. We all study other people. We all read the books, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Sell or Be Sold, all that good stuff. We all want to know how to influence other people. Before you do that, you might want to know what you want and study yourself. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. When you start to really know what drives you, what you want, like I know, I'm extremely competitive. When I have someone up to go against me is when I perform my best. I have to. Like Cameron. When Cameron started, anyone remember, I know Noel does anyone remember the first thing he said when they said, why do you want to do this? Do you remember what he said?
To prove them wrong.
To prove everybody wrong.
And I said on the side, I'm like, who? And he's like, everybody. He said like all blow.
He knows what drives him. He's fucking competitive. He doesn't want to lose. Andrew Kane goes psychotic when someone else puts in 10 deals in a month. He cannot lose. If you guys want to see Andrew work, someone else go do 30, and I guarantee the next month Andrew's doing 50. I guarantee it. So,
I'm still waiting for the fist fight.
Yes, I know.
Because he only did 24 sales and Anthony got it black to 36.
I know. So
Sorry.
some people are very competitive. Some people I forget all the 4 that he has, but that's right. Some people just want to be acknowledged. They want to be part of a team. They want to do stuff.
Individuality,
There you go. Advancement, individuality, yep. So know yourself. Ask yourself tough questions. Really start to do an analysis on like what makes you move, what life do you really want to live, what do you want to do over the next 5 to 10 years, and then do it. Most people, if you ask them where they're going to be in 10 years or what they want to do in their life, nobody has any idea. They're like, I want to make $1 million. Okay, like what else? Like what are you going to make $1 million in? How are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? When are you going to get there? Do you want to do it now? Do you want to do it in 5 years? In 10 years? What are you going to do when you get to $1 million? Do you want to buy a penthouse? Do you want to be frugal and save that money, invest it, and then live off of it another 20 years? Like, figure it the fuck out. We're all in the vehicle where we can. And most of you guys are young like me, under 30, 40, and we have a lot of time left to figure it out. So figuring it out now is the best thing you could do. Next slide. All right, 8 steps to reaching your potential. The first one is things must matter to you. There's a lot of people who like, you get and I know Jill is completely emotionless, and that's what he kind of teaches. And maybe in sales you have to be a little bit emotionless, but things have to matter to you. Being number 1 has to matter to you. If you just say, oh, I want to be a top sales rep, and it doesn't matter to you, it's not really going to do anything. It's not going to change much, you know? You have to there's nothing wrong with being mad about things. I hope somebody gets into a fist fight one day in here. Shows somebody's got some fucking character and you can't talk bad about somebody else, you know? Like, you can get a little angry at something if something pisses you off. You don't have to be a robot. Know the difference between initiating and reacting. This is kind of what I'm talking about knowing yourself. You don't just want to be pushed around in life. You want to figure out what you want to do and then initiate everything else after that. Not just reacting to everyone else's life and being kicked down the road. Find systems that make you think less and be more productive. This is a big one that I think a lot of us overlook. Like, you want to build systems and things and protocols that you do. And Jocko Willink says this, we all know Jocko, that's Jill's favorite guy. If the more disciplined you are, the more free you are, which is it's the opposite of what people think. But the more you're disciplined, the more you have a schedule and you know what you're gonna do, it makes your life free because you're not constantly in this chaotic life. You have things written down, you have a plan, you have a structure, you have a thing you're gonna do every time. Where if you just go by the wind, it takes so much of your energy and so much of your mental focus. So make systems that make you think less and be more productive. And it could be simple in solar. Every Saturday I knock on 20 doors, that's it. I don't care what happens on Saturday. If I have to be somewhere at 12 o'clock, I'm going out at 8 a.m. to knock on 20 doors before I leave. It's that simple. Or when I sell a job, every night I come home after I sell a job, I put my job in intake. I never let it sit for 3 days, ever. Every time I sign up a customer, I get all of the LOAs, all of the utility bills, I get everything signed, or else I don't put it into intake. Simple shit like that changes who you are as a sales rep and your life. Conserve your energy. Who was I just speaking to the other day? Oh, it was a Cincinnati guy, Austin, who's actually not on the call. He quit. But anyway, I was talking to him the other day, and he tells me, he was out there for 4 days, and he says, I forget exactly how many, but he's like, yeah, I've been knocking for like 3 or 4 days now. I say, okay, great. How many doors you knocked? I've hit about 150 doors. I'm like, dude, holy shit, that's good. He's like, yeah, I've had about 26 conversations. Like, what the fuck? Why are you knocking on so many doors if you're not getting conversations? This is big in this industry. Jill says this all the time. Knock, knock. Hey, I'm not into solar. Okay, cool. Have a good day. That's nice. Why are you gonna sit there and argue with the guy? That's what Jill does. You gotta conserve your energy. You can't go and knock on, you know how tiring it is to drive up to a house, get out of the car, walk up to the door, knock on it, wait 30 seconds, knock on it again, no answer, go back to the car. Do that 20 times in a row, I wanna put a shotgun to my face. It is the most annoying thing in the world. Don't knock on doors if you don't think they're home. Don't waste your time or your energy. You only have so much energy in the day. You shouldn't be just going out. This guy knocks on 150 doors in 3 days, gets 20 conversations. The only thing that matters in solar is how many people you talk to. I don't care if you knock on every door in Dutchess County. If you don't speak to human beings, nothing you did matters. So conserve your energy. Don't waste it on bullshit. And also the time cockroaches, which are like, I'm creating a sheet right now that's like 10 lessons that every solar rep needs to learn. And there's one, and I went through this, Cam's been through this, Noel's been through this, my dad, everyone in the room is in sales is gonna learn this lesson. And 99% of you are gonna learn it the hard way. There's gonna be a guy that you meet that has sat down with 30 plus solar companies. Maybe that's exaggeration, 10 plus solar companies to be exact. That person has sat down with 10 plus solar companies over the last 7 years. And you are gonna knock on his door, and he's gonna say, yes, I am interested in solar. I've sat down with 10 people, and I really would like to know more. I built this house for solar. Why don't you come by next week? You're gonna come by next week, you're gonna run an appointment, you're gonna think you're killing it, he's gonna be super interested, and he's gonna tell you I have to think about it. Then every time you text him, he's gonna say, I'm still thinking about it. And then every time you show up, he's gonna say, yeah, I was just thinking about it the other day. I think we might do it. And this is 6 months down the road. You have to learn their lesson that there are some people you meet that will never go solar.
Nick Kazadian, are you listening?
Never. It was the guy on, I know mine, 209 Robinson Lane. Tom was his name. And he sat down with him. Jill sat down with him. I was still new, and Jill's like, Zach, he'll never buy solar. I'm like, Jill, he's totally interested. What are you talking about? I'm like, he's gonna go solar.
You're gonna go to the upstairs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a great conversation with him. He's gonna tell you the whole time how much he wants to go solar, how much it makes sense, how much he thinks everybody should do it, and he's not gonna do it.
I was like, Jill's wrong. He's wrong.
Exactly.
No, he's wrong. We love solar.
How'd you make out?
You were right.
Oh, I never sold him. Of course I never sold him.
Identify these people and just get away from them.
You gotta figure it out quick. But that's part of conserving your energy. People will spend so much goddamn time with those people because they're close, and you know that you don't work hard enough, so you don't wanna go work and knock on more doors. So you try to make shit happen that you already have in your pipeline and customers you've already met with. But they're never gonna go solar. You gotta go find new people. You gotta go knock on 100 more doors, and I guarantee you'll get 2 new people, but nobody wants to go around and do the extra work. They just wanna try to keep working that pipeline and make something happen. So move on faster. So a lot of these things are kind of like they're kind of counterintuitive. Things must matter to you, but then you also have to move on faster. The definition of wisdom that I heard by someone was that it's not knowing everything, it's just knowing when to do the thing, which is like sometimes you got to care about something. Sometimes shit has to matter to you. And sometimes you just have to move on and move on faster. Wisdom is knowing when to do what. So move on faster. When you're knocking on doors, this is the most important thing in door-to-door industry. You can get cursed out, spit at, guns pulled on you, anything. If you have the ability, like Jill does, to just not give a single fuck and go to the next door, that's when people get really, really, really good at this job. Because Ben says this all the time. Your attitude walks 6 feet in front of you. If you are pissed off all the time and everything's annoying and oh my God, you got cut off in traffic and now you gotta go knock on fucking doors and the first person told you no and you're all pissed off, it's gonna ruin your entire career. So move on faster from stuff like that. Define hard work by by numbers, not hours. I see people in the gym all the time. In there for 2 hours, on their phone for 1 hour and 30 minutes. You did nothing. You're no better than the guy who was there for 45 minutes and actually got his workout in. Same on doors. When you're on the doors, make it about the doors. When you're at an appointment, make it about the appointment. When you're recruiting, you make it about recruiting. That's it. Define it by the numbers. I'm gonna get to 20 conversations and I don't care how long it takes me. It's not about the hours. Some days, if your goal is to get to 20 and you do it in 2 hours, good, go home. You did what you were supposed to do. There's no problem with that. But the days where you're at conversation 17 on hour 6, well then you can't go home now. Now you got to get to 20. And we just had a conversation about a guy down in Cincinnati who's struggling right now, and he moved back into outreach, and he told me, listen, I'm gonna work X amount of hours in a week. I said, I don't care about how many hours you work. For all I care, you guys can get 100 conversations in on Saturday and Sunday and take off the entire week. You can do Saturday and Sunday in outreach and then go Monday through Friday to Miami and then come back on Friday and do Saturday and Sunday and knock your 100 doors, 50 doors a day. I don't care. but you have to get the right amount of numbers of doors, numbers of appointments, numbers of presentations, number of sales, whatever that is to you, that's the thing to focus on, not the hours. Some weeks it's gonna be 20 hours, some weeks it's gonna be 80 hours, but you just stick to your numbers and then you can't lose. Nobody in this room can tell me that they knock on 100 doors a day, or sorry, not 100 doors a day. They knock on 100 doors a week, have 100 conversations a week, and run 5 presentations a week, and didn't get 4 sales that month. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. You can say, knock, knock, I'm Joe Sutherland, I sell solar panels. Would you like to buy them? And you can sell 4 a month if you knock on 100 conversations and run 5 appointments. So if you're not doing that, you're just not working. It's very, very simple. So I don't care about the hours. I don't care if you got home at 9:30 at night, but you only knocked on 7 doors and ran 1 appointment. I don't care. It's not special. You didn't do anything that was special. Compete up. This is one way to always be striving to do something more and to be striving to better you want to beat your prior best. You always want to compete up. Don't say, hey, I'm doing better than the guy that has 3 sales less than me. Of course you are. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You want to compete up. You want to look at the guy that's doing better than you, and then you want to go chase him. You want to try to beat him. You want to try to beat a guy who lives down, who's a buddy who you used to talk to, and now he sells pest control in Florida, and he sells a deal a day. Go compete with him, because even though it's probably unrealistic, when you start to attach yourself to like, I want to do a deal a day, even if you miss that, even if you do 50% of that, and you get 3 deals a week, you won. Don't go compete with someone who's doing less than you. You always want to look for the person doing more than you, and that way you never slow down, and you can keep getting better and better and better. You always want to beat your prior best. Make pain your fuel. So this is kind of self-explanatory, but when a customer says, Eric had this the other day, he told me, or he put it in the chat, a guy just said to me, get a real job. Bro, what do you define as a real job? You work a 9 to 5 in a cubicle and you make 60 grand a year and you tell me to get a real job? That should anger you to want to go out and set 40 appointments that day and make that guy's salary in a day. That's what that would do.
I'm waiting for that guy.
Yeah. That's
I
what.
have my Rippling pulled up and go, you want to go there? Let's go.
That's what that should do.
So I said to Michael the other day, I said, sell his neighbors.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't want to come, he'll sell your neighbors.
You want to go sell his entire salary in a day. Like, that's literally what you want to do. So these are 8 steps to reaching your potential, which is all had to do with the slide previous. So go ahead, Ben.
Can I add to that, Zach?
Go ahead. Yep.
I love it. I love the potential, reaching that and everything. The first thing, I think that if anybody's like looking at this, I'm one of those every single day. I take in what we see on the Zoom calls, what we see in these conferences, and how can I apply this to my life, and where do I start? A good starting point is starting a routine. I'm sure if you followed people like Andrew Kane, Anthony Marino, Cameron Abellos, Zach, they wake up at the same time every single day. They go to the gym at the same time every day. They eat breakfast at the same time. They do their Zoho notes at the same time whenever they do it. Following a path like that is gonna get you guys to be in the right schedule to knock on doors and, all right, I'm working today. All right, I'm not working today, and it makes you be naturally more productive. Just wanted to add that.
Yep, 100%. It's 100% true. How are we feeling so far? Everyone looks like they're tired. We good? We're good? Okay. What? Give us 2, ready? One more time. Give us 2. There it is.
We got lunch in an hour, you guys. Let's keep going.
Okay. Just fucking stab myself with that pen. What is the most important data in our business? Does anyone know this? We're gonna go around table. Anyone raise your hand. Do you think you know the most important data in our business? Nobody wants to guess?
Appointments demoed.
Okay. Anyone else?
Conversations.
Kitchen table set.
I would say doors knocking conversation.
It's a little bit different for outreach, so for you guys, you're probably right. Anyone else?
Kitchen tables.
How many tables you sat at compared to how many sold?
Yep, exactly. So the most, at the bare minimum, you need to track this data, is that how many appointments did you sit at and how many appointments did you close? I learned this from Jill way back in the day, and all of us have probably heard or learned it. You can go out and knock on doors and feel like you talk to 80 people a day. And then you check your notes and you're at 12. And you're like, what the fuck? I've been out here for 7 hours. Why do I only have 12 conversations? It's the same with running deals. And when you're in sales, that is the only thing that matters. Andrew doesn't knock on doors. I don't care how many doors you knock on. If they're all referrals, that's even better. But how many presentations did you run in a week and how many did you close? That also gives us a good guesstimate of your closing percentage. If you're only closing 40%, you probably need to do something else to switch up your presentation as well. You need to change how you're doing that, what you're saying at the presentation. If you're closing 80, then you're good. But you should be tracking how many appointments you sit at per week and how many appointments you sit at, or how many appointments you close, per week. And I told everyone that was on a South team, I created a spreadsheet, and every single week, we're gonna plug in those numbers as a team. Week 1, how many did you sit at? Week 1, how many did you close? Every single week, everyone is gonna import that data into a spreadsheet, and now there's no lying, there's no BS. Obviously, you guys can lie to me and tell me that you sat at more kitchen tables, but the scoreboard doesn't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. If you're doing 3 a month, and you're only sitting at 5 kitchen tables a month, there's a reason why you're only doing 3. That means you're not bad. If you close 3 out of 5, you got a 60% closing rate. But you only sat at 5 kitchen tables in a month, that's 1 a week, 1.2 a week, you know? So those numbers are important. What'd you say?
What do you think the closing rate is as a whole?
As a whole, I have no idea. Probably 40%, 35, 40% as a team. Yeah, I would say that.
I mean, car sales, it was 25 across the board. Just curious.
What is it, Clyde?
In car sales as a whole, it's 25%.
That's where I think we're at. I mean, if we look at our outreach numbers, we're always about 30 or 40%.
That's right.
25% hit the roof.
Yeah.
Right.
Cancels.
I mean,
Cancels.
some of the better guys.
So this is the kind of sheet that they created, and it gives you a very good example of what it looks like to actually work a full-time job. If you talk to 100 people a week, so we agreed that 1 hour is 5 conversations, which means roughly 20 conversations is 4 hours. Some days are worse, some days are better, I get it. But we're just gonna do average for this. That would be 100 doors in a week, would equal 20 hours in a week. If you run 5 presentations a week at 90 minutes, that's with commute and everything. You guys shouldn't be at a house for more than really an hour, so this is including commute. That's 5 presentations, that's 7.5 hours. Emails and Zoho, once a day, every single day, is 1 hour. And I know you guys ain't in your Zoho an hour a day because I see your Zohos. But we're just gonna give you guys benefit of the doubt. 1 hour, once a day, 7 hours. Intake for 30 minutes, if you're Andrew Kane, it's 2 hours. 2 deals a week, 1 hour per week. That's 35 total hours. If you did all this every week, that'd be a full-time job. Raise your hand if you did all that last week. Well, you worked your ass off last week. Mike, I can understand. This is the kind of stuff, this is why I say don't worry about the hours, worry about the numbers. Worry about the numbers. How many numbers did you get to? How many appointments did you get to? How many conversations did you have? All that stuff. If you did all this in a week, everything right here, that's 35 total hours you would have worked. That'd be a full-time job. So when you're doing your math and you're tracking stuff, write this down in a spreadsheet or write this down in your notebook and tell yourself how much you worked. And I get it, there's other little miscellaneous things. So you add 5 hours for the miscellaneous shit. Now you're at 40 hours a week. Now you worked a full-time job. You know? That is what it takes. And it doesn't seem like that much. But when you're out there doing it, it's not that easy. So focus on this. If you're doing this every week, you guys are gonna make $500,000 a year. It's impossible to not do this, it's impossible to do this and not make $250,000 a year at minimum.
You could be bad.
Terrible.
Terrible. And if you do that,
You could be Dominic Vescusi.
you make more than most dentists.
It's also a
I'm saying at minimum. So, And that's without bonus and everything else. It's 400,000, 500,000 a year. But I'm just giving rough numbers so we can understand it. All right. Store this, remember it, use it. I'm gonna start to use it a lot more with our guys, but it's very important that you do this kind of stuff and you really bring, because we all think we work hard. We really all do. And I'm not saying that you guys don't. I know our job is not easy. I know it's a lot of mental challenges. I know it takes a lot sometimes to go out there and knock. I know when it's rainy and you gotta go out there and knock in the rain, it sucks. I went through it all, okay? I know. When I started in solar, Jill will tell you the stories. No one was really here. There was a few of us guys doing it. But I was 19, and I was as ignorant as they come. I didn't know anything about anything. And we were in Poughkeepsie, where there was nobody there selling solar. We had a 3.1 floor price. We had basically no reviews online. The guys that were near me wouldn't help me. The guy that was supposed to train me got a DWI, went to jail. So I had nobody to train me. I was 19, and I was a fucking idiot. Like, an idiot. I cheated my entire way through high school. I dropped out of college within a month. I was not a smart kid. I got suspended in 6th grade for selling drugs. Then came back a week later, got suspended for pulling out a knife on some kid. In 6th grade, okay? I was an asshole.
Who raised you? Wait.
Jill might not know that. That's a true story.
Wait, let me clarify.
That's a true story.
He didn't pull a knife out on a kid. He got caught with a knife.
Yeah. And I caught selling weed, selling 4 dime bags in the cafeteria.
See, I think that sounds smart.
I'm
not mad at that.
Lunchtime selling dime bags. That's funny.
The kid snitched on me. The kid snitched on me. But when I started, I promise you guys, and it was my ignorance. I'm not saying that I was smart and like I was really good. It was purely my ignorance. Jill would tell me, go do this, and I would do that. And I would work 10 hours a day, every single day. He's like, weekends are the best days. Perfect, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. I'll be on the doors all weekend. That's all I did. You guys have no idea. When I tell you my presentations were the worst thing you've ever seen in your life, I promise you they were the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. I talked faster than I am now, which I still already talk really fast. And I would get through maybe 6 minutes, show them the numbers, and we only had a 20-year loan at a 6% interest rate. And I'd say, does this make sense or no? They'd say no. I'd say, are you sure? You don't want to rethink it? Like, that was my comeback. I swear to God, guys, I was terrible, but all I did was work. I just worked. So I promise you guys can be bad and still do this and make ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous money. Go ahead to the next slide, Ben.
Can I comment on that?
Go ahead.
It
Go ahead.
also helps you to take inventory of yourself, right? Because if you sit down and fill that out, and you're honest with yourself about your times, and like I did it, and I realized, okay, I spend way too much time with emails and so on.
Yep.
And
Oh, we know.
yeah. But you know, when I had it in front of me, then I was able to say, okay, I need to
Stand on this side.
and spend more time here. You know, when you do this, you can take an actual inventory on the best data that will help you to achieve the best
X.
X, right.
Whatever
That's
X is for you.
Another reason to do it.
All right, go ahead to the next one. Oh, yeah, this was a good one. All right,
I love this one.
so I meant to put words on it and I forgot. Me and Jill talked and I forgot to do it. But so we have right here, this is your confidence level from 0 to 100. And then this is the weeks that go by in solar. So
How long does that last? What's the lifespan?
last thing is year 1 and 2. Year 1 and 2. So we have the entire first year in solar, roughly. So the start of solar.
This, you guys. This is your life for
Everyone.
Everyone goes through it. Every single person goes through it. We just lost this guy down in Cincinnati because we didn't confront the problem before it started because we knew this was going to happen. Anyway, when you start, everyone in here started. Eric's first week, I think he put in like 30 appointments. And then none of them sit and he got no paycheck. And this is him. Holy fuck, I'm really good at solar. Oh my God, I made $0 this week.
My first deal, I owed 10 grand.
Exactly. Everyone gets in a new job. You're knocking on doors. You're so excited. Knock, knock. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Everyone's so friendly. Like, life is great. And then at about week 1.5 to 2 weeks, you're like, oh my God, this is not easy. People have so many questions. What?
This is like every day.
This is 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Oh, shit. Somewhere between weeks 1 and 4 is where shit hits the fan. You realize how tough this really is, how much you need to learn, how many questions people ask, how to counteract that question, how to actually knock on doors, how to be efficient, all this stuff. So you go from literally 100 to 10. This is your first slap in the face. Then over the next 12 weeks, and I couldn't make it that bumpy, but imagine this line is like this, all the way up. From weeks 4 to the start of sales is kind of a constant bouncing up, bouncing up, bouncing up. You go down, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, you up. But eventually, you kind of get back up to where you're pretty solid. You're at maybe a 70, 80% confidence. You're feeling pretty good.
How far is that in?
This is week 12. So this is about 3 months in, 4 months in.
I got this figured out. This is great.
I should go into sales.
I'm good enough to go into sales.
Zach, I think I want to move into sales.
I don't know why Gio won't let me go into sales.
He thinks I can't sell. Has he ever seen me with a customer?
I set 9 appointments last month. I don't know why I can't go into sales.
I think I'm going to go into sales. They go into sales?
I can totally do it.
All of a sudden, you're in sales. Your first 2 weeks in sales. You're way back down here.
They made it. They're in sales. They got their plaque. Okay? All right? What do we give the award for promotions?
Yeah, promotions.
Oh, yeah, this is where it gets fun. Okay, now you're in sales. Now the kicks and the balls really hurt.
Yeah, now you really, when over here, when you got kicked in the balls, you still got an $800 a week paycheck or a $500 a week paycheck from outreach because you still get paid. When you get kicked in the balls over here, you had $8 grand that was supposed to come in next week, and then a week before the guy wants to move forward, he says, "Oh, I don't think we're gonna do this. My neighbor, he said this is a bad idea. I'm not going solar." And that was your first sale that you were supposed to make $8 grand on, and you haven't had a paycheck in 4 months, and you're supposed to make $8 grand on that deal. And that's honestly, I should have put this arrow down here. You're like down here somewhere. Like this is like depression. This is like you jumped off the Hudson River. You're like right here, just above jumping off the Hudson River.
How about Noah's first deal? He forgot to put in the $13,000 roof.
Yep.
He
Yep.
bought it for him.
Noah paid his first. I paid my first customer to go solo, only like $800. Noah paid his first customer a few $1,000s to go solar. $10,000 to go solar.
I didn't know what to say to him. You know what I said? I guess you're not gonna make $200,000 this year. You'll make $190. But you know what? That's a good way to look at it.
That is the start of sales. Everyone thinks they're ready for sales until you go into sales, and it is so much more difficult than you think. Then you think you figure it out. Then you're like, okay, I got 4 deals this month. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not bad. I think I'm actually pretty good in sales. Next month, I'm going to try to do 6. And then all of a sudden, you're up here. You did you want to do your 6, and then you have a month where you do 1, and 3 of these from last month cancel. And now you're back down here again. When you're in sales, there's a constant cancellations and permits and appointments not sitting and all this stuff. And in the beginning, it gets to you. When you have 2 appointments in a day that you set that don't sit, that day, like Anthony said, that day looks like this. You wake up, you got 3 appointments for the day. This can be drawn out for the year, for the day, for the week, for the month. It's all the same in solar. You start out the morning, you have 2 appointments set. You're excited to go to these appointments. First appointment reschedules. All right, it's not so bad. I'll go to the next one. You go to the next one, that one cancels. Holy fuck, okay, I gotta go knock more doors. Then you set a same day. Then that same day doesn't show up for that night. And then you set 2 more appointments for the rest of the week. It can be drawn out for literally every single day, every week, every month, every year. Brutal. And then, so once you think you figured it out in sales, it goes back down, you don't figure it out. And then after about 6 months in sales is when you're like, let me listen to Gio. Let me ask him some more questions. Let me do what he does instead of what I do, because what I'm doing isn't working. Let me talk to this guy. Maybe I should have him come and sit on a presentation with me because I'm not doing it right. Maybe I should write a letter. Maybe I should write the handwritten letters. Maybe I should show up to surveys. Then you start to kind of figure it out and you get on this little bit of trajectory up, and then by year 1, usually you got to figure it out. But this is basically This is a degree in human beings that you're going to make $150,000 to learn in your first year. Yeah. Instead of going into debt and paying a college, university, $100,000, you're going to make $100,000, and this is going to be your university. It's going to teach you how to handle your emotions, how to handle rejections, how to deal with people, how to sell people, how to get referrals, how to listen, how to be on time. All these lessons you're going to learn. And also, if solar, for some God's insane reason, it goes away or you guys get fired or whatever happens, when you go to your next job and you tell them, yeah, I knocked on doors and created $1.7 million in business, they're going to be begging you to work at that company. What we do is insane. And the lessons and things you learn in here is not like any other thing in this world. And in solar, you eventually, this line turns into, you start here, then you're you start here, you kind of go up here, and then you come back down, and then you're up here. It never goes away. It just shortens the bouncing up and down and the lows and the highs. You just become, somebody cancels, you're like, I knew that fucking guy was gonna cancel, what an asshole. And that's it, you're just on this line. Yeah. You're just on that line all day, all week, all month, all year. You start to not be affected by anything. Your girlfriend cheats on you, you're like, I fucking knew she was gonna. Whatever. All right, we're going to the club tonight. Like, you just become a different kind of human being. If you know, Jill is the master of this.
I gotta hop in on this, you guys. And this is so true. And I can think of a lot of people in here, certain instances where you're in sales, you got it figured out. This is the week that you're really gonna commit to it. You're gonna knock on doors. You're gonna do a great job. You did a couple ride-alongs. You got 3 appointments, and you got 3 credit fails. All people want to go solar.
I forgot that.
You're sitting there. It
Credit
makes
fails.
sense to them. They can't wait to go solar. This is really great. Where do you think the panels are gonna go? Oh, good. That's excellent. Oh, good. Because I hate Central Hudson. Oh, and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, 7,500. This is great. Yes. Push the button. Bam. Declined. Ooh. Down you go, right? Now you gotta go to the next appointment. Once you get past, and there's a saying, and don't let your highs get too high, don't let your lows get too low. Who's ever in sports or determined to be a musician and just kept failing? You sucked at the piano, right? But you got better, right? That's what this is, times 10. Now Mike Weiss calls me or texts me like, got my 3rd credit fail of the week. Ha 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 ha. Like, because it doesn't hurt so much. And you really got to get it. Everybody, this might be extreme, but anybody ever see an assembly line with a robot that maybe comes up, puts tops on jars, and then the jars come by and it goes up and puts, right? And then hundreds of them. Human beings used to do that. But human beings also bring to work with them the fact that they got a big vet bill. That human beings also bring the fact to that they hate your coworker. Human beings also get sick. Human beings make excuses every day why they're not getting the job done. Robots don't have emotions. The less emotions that you have, the less emotions that you allow this business to make you feel, trust me, there's very, 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 very violent past in my life when I could not control my emotions when I was selling frozen goods door to door. It's all day, every day. And when we say some people aren't just built for this, you're just not built for it. The people that are successful, Zac said it before, I truly do not give a half of a single fuck what anybody says to me on the door. I literally get people saying, nah, we looked into it, we're gonna move. I'm like, all right, sounds good. And you know what, the savings wasn't that much when we looked at it, okay, good. And you know what, my wife said, shut the fuck up, I'm out of here, man. I can't listen to these no's all day long. I gotta go find somebody that wants to hear it. So stop wasting your time with people that don't want to hear it and find the people that do.
Joe, I just got a text 20 minutes ago. Were you able to get anywhere with getting me approved by myself? Because it's going to be his wife.
There you go.
And have a whole day.
EFS. So, guys, you gotta be, I'm not telling you to be robots, but 100 things happen to you on the doors every day that are not pleasant. And I'm just gonna, how many more slides you got, Zach?
Two.
Just let me say this. If you just do the work and don't have feelings about it, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, you're gonna have success. Remember what I said at the beginning of the meeting? All those people that made all that money, I don't think about the money and the sales they made. I think of the hard days they went through. But you know what? They got through it and they woke up the next day and they weren't crying about it. When I call you at 5 o'clock and ask how your day going, you've got the rep that says, I've already talked to 22 people. I got fucking bit by one dog. You know, this lady said she was gonna call the cops on me, and it looks like it's gonna fucking pour rain. I'll call the next guy and I'm like, yeah, man, I know what's going on out here. I've talked to 25 people. It's going to happen pretty soon here, though. I've had a lot of good conversations, and I got a feeling something's going to happen. Same type of day. Two different perceptions of it. Do you see that? All right? There's those people, and you guys, I really swear to God, I refuse to throw my phone out the window of my car anymore. But when I read on the group me, I know, I have gotten better, of somebody talking about how bad of a day they're having, it drives me crazy. Because you are either the type of the person that looks at the silver lining of things, that it's pouring fucking rain, and everybody's home, and it's gonna be a great day to sell solar, or, oh, it's raining again, I can't work. You're one or the other. You either have abundance thinking or scarcity thinking, and guess who decides that frame of mind? You do. You are in charge of what you're gonna do today, how you're gonna feel about something. Right? Millions of people are fucking crying. They don't know why, because the Queen died. The fuck did she ever do? I don't understand it. Right? Watch, somebody's upset at me in here. Control your emotions. I'll go on for hours. I won't though. This and everything Zach said, please. We feel this every day. Please limit the amount of up and down. Don't let your highs get too high. Don't let your lows get too low. Glenn Dingee learned that. And Glenn doesn't let anything bother him anymore. Of course, when you got $140,000 in the bank now, nothing really bothers you anymore, right? Nope. But I had to really dive in on that, Zach, because this is what you are up against. You either can do this and handle it emotionally, or you can't. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. I don't even know if you're a good person if you don't have any emotions on it. But just keep going and don't let it's going to get tough out there. You got to keep going if you want one of these awards. But sorry, Zach.
You're good. It's great. Yeah, just go to the next slide because I got nothing left to say on that one. The future looks bright. We got these. I got my cute little wristband from Patrick Bedava that says this. So, you know, I've gone over it in probably like 6 different slides in 6 different ways. But the market right now, the election, there's so many wild things happening in the world that we have zero control over. Zero control over. Ukraine, the panel shortage, what are we gonna do? We can't change that. That's not our job. Our job is to sell solar panels. The recession that might be happening, there's fucking a depression. Donald Trump might go to jail for Mar-a-Lago. There's like, every day there's something new on the news that might happen. The Queen just died. There's all these things that happened. Everything, and every time it happens in 2008 or 2010, the market will never recover. We're all gonna die. We're never gonna survive this. What?
The computers.
Yeah, the computers, the war in fucking 1950. It's never gonna be the same again. We're always 9/11. It's like there's these things that always happen, and America has this way of just figuring it out. It just moves on. Just somehow, some way, to think it's just like, it's all good. In 6 months, it'll all be good. So the future always looks bright, and this is exactly what Jill says. You can look at everything that's happening and say, this world is going to shit. Oh my God, we're never gonna be able to do this. This is terrible. This and this happened, all that stuff. Or you can look at it and say, we need people more like me and more like you and more like, hey, let's go out and let's do something. Let's make some money. Let's take this money and do something good with it. Let's hire a new guy and change his life. Do you know how many lives of people in here? How many people at this job has changed your life? Okay. The future looks bright for guys like us because we're willing to put in the work no matter what happens. We're in the right opportunity where we're always gonna make something. We're always gonna make Lemonade out of lemons, is that the saying, right? Lemonade out of lemons. And those are the kind of people that we need in the world now. There are so many people in the world today that, like Gilles just saying, like I've been saying, that have one bad thing happen to them and it ruins their month. There's so much talk about depression and anxiety and all this BS that goes on. Not that I don't believe in it, but it's just like, it's your own, you're doing it to yourself. If you don't go out and I know I've had the days where I don't go out and knock on doors and I make the excuses and I let my inner person win. And then at the end of the day, I'm so fucking mad at myself and I'm so depressed and I'm like, damn it. Like, why didn't I just go knock on doors? We all have those days. You just gotta have more of the good days than the bad days. You gotta work out, you gotta work a little bit more than you don't work, you know? You gotta go out a little bit longer than you think you should. You always do one more, you always go out on the door. So the future looks bright, I'll say it again, but always think of this in your brain, like you control, where's Tony? What was the thing that Patrick David said that you like so much? History looks bright because we're gonna create it. Because I intend to write it. History looks bright because I intend to write it. Well, I'm talking about all this stuff of planning your moves and thinking who you're gonna be and how you wanna do it and all this stuff. You guys control whatever you want to do, especially in this job, and I keep saying that, but this job, you are 1099, you work for yourself. We do not make you do anything. We don't force you to do anything. All this stuff is suggestions that I'm telling you. There's nothing in a contract that says you work for me or any of us. Go ahead.
Well, listen, to push that just a step further, and this is for the new guys. We literally have the best product on the planet. Somebody please go home and spend 2 hours on the internet to find out a better product in the marketplace today. Literally not one. We are doing people a favor by putting solar on their house. It doesn't cost them a dime, it saves them money, it's green energy, you could go on and on and on.
Jill, how long do we have?
People used to come to me to buy a car. I go, go the fuck home, you don't need a car. You don't need it. I felt guilty.
What time is lunch?
Selling somebody a car. You should be more determined to do this for somebody.
Okay, that's fine. I'll be done at 5 or 10. And on that point, before we go on to the next slide, which is the last slide, you guys, exactly what he just said, we sell a product that is ridiculous. Like, I forget who said this, and I was literally in my reminders this morning. I don't know why I wrote it down from somebody to say it, but nobody that ever went solar regretted it. They might get installed and they're pissed off because something happened with the install and they're like, oh my God, I should have never went solar. Okay, give it 6 months. They're really gonna like when they have a zero bill for 6 months. Nobody ever regretted going solar. You know how many people regret buying a car when they go out to the dealership and you guys sell them a car? You know how many people are like, fucking I don't have $500 to spend on that goddamn car. I shouldn't have got the sport package. I should have got the regular package. It's not even worth it. So many things that America and people sell are like that, where they regret buying it. Nobody who ever bought solar, unless it was from a shitty company, not us. Nobody who ever bought solar from us or you ever regretted buying solar. Ever. I promise you, we all have text messages we can show in here of customers. I've had customers cry, sending me thank you letters. Cameron, every week he sends a thing in of the customers paying him. They're like, thanks for getting us solar, here's $100. Like, he made commission, why are you giving him money? He just sold you the product. But that's how it is. We have something where you create these long-term relationships with customers. We sell an amazing product where they win and we win. And there's so much talk about, again, same thing with market crashes and things happening. In 2012, solar is gonna go away. We only have 5 years left. In 2015, solar is gonna go away. We only have 5 years left. 2018, oh my God, the tax credit's going away. We only have 5 years left. Somehow we're all still selling solar. Somehow solar's been around for 2 decades. And somehow it just keeps getting better. They just extended the tax credit for another decade. And do you think it's gonna go away in a decade, or do you think it's gonna somehow happen and it's gonna change and it's gonna get better and better and better? There's always gonna be a place and a way to sell solar. Maybe it changes, because obviously over the course of my career, it has changed a lot with tax credits and financing options and the different loan products and all that stuff. But you can always sell solar. You'll always be able to sell solar for probably the rest of all of our lives. even me as young as I am. So get the best you can in this industry. And then what I want to talk about, next slide, you can go to the next slide. What I want to talk about now to end this out is we need to expand and we need leaders. So these are some of the places that we're talking about going. Texas, North Carolina, we're already in Ohio, we're in South Carolina. We have made a structure, and me and Jill joke about it all the time, and you've heard us say it. We make so much damn money that there's not a lot of reasons to want to be a manager because you're already making $500,000 a year. When you become a manager, you still make $500,000 a year and just have a lot of different stuff that you do. But the difference is when you're a manager, the impact, like everyone in here, and it's selfish to say, but I wanted to become a manager because I wanted to help other people and change people's lives like it did to me. I hired my father, I hired my best friend, I hired 2 other best friends that I fired because they weren't sticking up to company policies and stuff. And you guys probably don't know him because he's still around and he sells solar for another company now. Actually owns his own solar company. But we need people that want to be managers and want to go share what we have and do what we do. I'm telling you right now, I'll show you guys my pay stubs. My dad made more than me, Micah's made more than me, Nola's made more than me, Andrew's made more than me, Anthony Marino's made more than me, Cameron's made more than me. Half of my team made more than me and I'm the manager. And I have all the expenses, we pay for the trips, I pay for the office. Like I get it, I'm talking you out of management right now. But at the end of the day, there's no better reward than being the manager and being able to grow things and change people's lives. And it's all fun and games when you save someone 50 grand a year. But when you take someone that was originally starving and broke and couldn't make any money, and now they're making $500,000 a year selling solar, there's no better feeling. I know Jill is all tough and he has a hard shell. Jill has the biggest heart in the world. And he loves to do this because it changed people's lives. That's why he can't fire anyone. That's why everyone sticks around even if you do 1 sale a month. Even if you're not working hard, he can't fire you because he loves people. And he doesn't like to tell people. But he's a big softie, all right? He's a big teddy bear.
How can somebody not see this and just fucking sit on their couch and not go to work? Like, it's hard to fire somebody because I just can't believe they're that stupid.
So we need people in other areas. These other areas, like he said, they're begging for us to go there. And it can't all happen on our own. We need leaders, we need people that we need people that want to step up, that want to share what we have going on. And yeah, for some of you guys, if you're making 200 grand, you now might make 300 grand as a manager. Some of you guys that are making $500,000, you might now make 300,000 or 400,000 for the first couple of years. And then you start to really grow it out. And then maybe you get up to some serious numbers. But if you want to be a manager, it shouldn't be about the money. When you get into solar and you're in the beginning of the solar industry, and you're in the beginning as a manager, it is about the money. There's nothing wrong with that. When I got into solar, I had pictures of Lamborghinis on my wall. I'm like, this is what I want. I don't give a fuck about his life. He can go fuck himself. I just want a nice car. I don't care about helping him. Like, who do I care? And then you start to kind of get into it, and you get into it more, and you start to realize that, like, that's what this is all about. We all are in this room. 3 years ago when I was in this room, we were in the other back room, and it was half full. There was like 10 of us. All the people in this room, it's insane what can be accomplished, especially if you have 2, 3, 4 guys that also want to do what Jill, I, Ben, Nick wants to do, all that stuff. When you want to grow and you have guys that are willing to do it and you have leaders that step up, this is when you can start to take over and start to grow in these different places and have an amazing, amazing sales team. So if you guys want to be the leader, if you think you want to be a manager, I recommend it 10 times out of 10. I would never want to go back and be in sales again now that I've been a manager because it's amazing. It's 10 times more rewarding. It's also twice as hard, 3 times as hard. But we need guys to do this. We need guys that want to step up and that want to go to these places. North Carolina is beautiful. First of all, New York sucks. New York used to be great. New York sucks. So most of you guys, yeah, it's great for selling solar, but you guys should want to get the hell out of here. You guys should want to get the hell out of here and go build a family somewhere else because that's what I want. I just got my pistol permit license. I don't know how much you guys are into guns. I just got my pistol permit license. New York? Yeah. New York now, this is the kind of state we live in. New York, you can't bring, you're a fully licensed concealed carry owner of a gun by the state. You can't bring it into restaurants. You can't bring it into movie theaters. You can't bring it into any gas stations. You can't bring it into anywhere that serves alcohol. You can't bring in anything that's sensitive that might have kids around. Which basically eliminates every single thing in the world. Just the state, the taxes we pay, everything else, like, this is not a good state to live in. Like, we have the opportunity to go to other states, and that for me is half the reason I wanted to become a manager, because I'm like, once New York is all set, I'm fucking leaving, because I don't want to sell here anymore. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I don't want to be in New York anymore.
February in New York?
What? Yeah, exactly. My dad's going to be in Florida for the next 6 months. He leaves next month to go to Florida because...
Where were you 2 years ago, Glenn?
Fucking December, January, and February, I want to jump off the fucking Mid-Hudson Bridge. That's why.
Amen, man.
we have, again, this goes back to what I said before. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to let Jill talk. But this goes back to what I said before. You can build whatever life you want. You can go and you can be the guy that builds a 100-person sales team and works the next 5 years at it, and you move to Florida and you pioneer that state, whatever you want. You can be the guy that sells solar, and there's nothing wrong with any of these. You can be the guy that sells solar, makes 200 grand a year, only works 20, 30 hours a week, gets to watch his kids grow up, gets to do what he wants on the weekends. You can be the guy that becomes a regional sales manager, blows me out of the water, puts on, builds the entire West Coast, East Coast, whatever. You can do whatever you want here, because we have the opportunity where there's a book called Blue Ocean Strategy and Red Ocean Strategy, which is like, Red Ocean Strategy is if you get into the insurance industry right now, or real estate, how many goddamn people are in real estate? There's 80,000 real estate agents in New York City. 80,000 real estate agents in New York City, and I think there's like 95,000 homes sold a year in New York City or something like that, residential. So basically there's one home per real estate agent. Insurance industry, it's flooded. There's millions and millions of insurance agents. I think there's only like 8,000 sales reps in the country, in the entire United States. It's an industry that's so new and that's so open to just be, for someone to just kill it and do whatever you want in the industry. So that's my message. That's everything I got. The future looks bright, and I'm excited to be here, so thank you.